Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video market update. We're going to be focusing on Ethereum and Litecoin. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Let's dive right into the episode on the 4-hour time frame at the moment. And of course, this might still change. This could actually change before I actually manage to publish this video. But overall, we're seeing coiling, price compression in towards the apex of this triangle, and we've already resolved that apex. This apex, or at least this support right over here, was able to hold and propel price into a nice breakout, and now we're just seeing a pullback into this blue diagonal just to test it as a support before we can challenge for 391. So overall, the context over here that we need to bear in mind is 360, the top of the macro 160, 360 channel over here. 360 is a very important level, and we've managed to lose it for a brief while, but notice how we're actually seeing a higher low over here. We're seeing a higher low. People are buying at higher and higher and higher levels, which is just showcasing to us a sort of buy the dip mentality here at the moment. But the thing to bear in mind at the same time, even though we're seeing this higher low tendency, we've broken down from this sideways channel a few weeks back. This was a multi-week channel, 4 weeks in the making. We actually saw a bearish shooting star candle towards the upside and broke down from here. So this was a support, a multi-week support that has recently been tested as a resistance over here and rejected price. So now that gives a bit more context as to what's going on with this triangle on the 4-hour time frame. If we successfully retest the top of this blue diagonal as a support, we'll see a rally, continuation in the rally to 391, and 391 is essentially the bottom of this channel, of this sideways channel. So as long as we have that trend decision there, because if we break back into the channel, that would be quite interesting. But if we don't break back into the channel and we actually reject from 391, we'll see further consolidation within this range, because at the moment we're just in a range for Ethereum. 360 to 391, that's the range that Ethereum is in at the moment, consolidating between 360, which is the top of its macro channel, and the bottom of that multi-week channel that it lost a while back. So consolidation for Ethereum at the moment. If it can't break back into 391, past 391 back into the channel, then 360 could have some problems and we might see a little bit more downside. But this higher low over here is quite promising. But at the same time, if we zoom in here, you'll see that there is actually a lower high on price as well. So we're actually seeing price compression within this portion of price action. Price compression, which will precede volatility for sure. So that's something that I'm going to be watching for. This is a little bit more of a zoomed in look for Ethereum. We're seeing that price compression. This is where the main trend decision is going to be, 391 in the short term. Of course, 360 being an important level as well. But overall, if we just zoom out even further to the 3 monthly, to the quarterly chart, you can see that this is a double bottom. You can see that this is a double bottom. This is a letter W. W for the win. That's what I like to, that's a mantra that I like to use for double bottoms, because whenever we see a breakout from a double bottom, we tend to see significant upside. So this is essentially the top of that double bottom, right? This is the double bottom, the W-shaped formation. Once we break out past this double bottom, you see significant upside, and that's what we saw, of course. But if 360 can't actually hold, we could see downside to as far as the low 300s, and 290, which is essentially the top of this double bottom, would be fantastic if we were to get that. That would be essentially a retest of this quarterly macro pattern, and if we get that retest, that would be a fantastic bullish sign for further continuation from Ethereum going forward. But a few things would need to happen, and 360 would need to be lost. That weekly higher low would need to be invalidated, and if that happens, then we'd see that downside occur for Ethereum. But at the moment, we have to bear in mind that this is the 360 level. So 360, of course, is an important level, and you can see how important a level that is, because this is essentially a key support over time. This was a resistance, a rejection, a strong rejection from here, in fact, that prompted a lot of downside just to form that second bottom of the double bottom. This 360 level is a very important reference point for price, previous support, previous resistance, and now we have to see this turn back into support. So if we can't see Ethereum test this level as a support in the next 2 weeks, because remember guys, the next quarterly candle close is in 2 weeks time, approximately speaking. If we can't claim this level 360 as a support by the time the quarterly candle occurs, then we're going to see a bit more downside. We might actually see this become revisited. This could actually be a very real possibility. So the quarterly candle above this level is very important. But at the same time, we have to understand that 391, here we go again, this is also a very important level. So essentially, we are trapped in this range. And that just harkens back to what we've been talking about earlier on in the video. 360 to 391, that's the channel that we're in at the moment for Ethereum. So a close above 360 on the quarterly would be a good sign, but still we have a very strong resistance at 391. So even if we get that quarterly candle close above 360, 391 is in the way, we might still see that consolidation here for a little while longer. It could be a little while longer. So we just have to wait for that quarterly close. We have to see how Ethereum behaves relative to 360 or 391. Those are the reference points for price at the moment, and based on how price reacts in the context of those levels, we'll be able to take more of a directional bias. So that's Ethereum for you. Let's talk about Litecoin very briefly before we finish up the episode. Let's have a look at how Ethereum is forming a double bottom formation. It's formed it a while ago, it's broken out from it already, but look how Litecoin is actually lagging, and this formation actually is at around 125. So we're not even there yet. We're at $50, not even $50. So this is arguably the second bottom forming. And in fact, if we just do this, we'll notice that there is a higher low relative to this low in 2019. So this is a lower low compared to here. So we're seeing a higher low. This is a positive sign for people buying at this bottom at a little bit more of a premium than here. That's a very good thing to notice in price. That's actually quite a bullish thing. So I'm just wondering, is this a lagging formation? Is this a double bottom as well? Is this Litecoin lagging severely behind Ethereum to such an extent that we'll see curling up in this price action towards 125 over the next coming months? Because remember, this is the quarterly chart, so this is going to take a while to really take effect into price, but this is $125, and that's the validation point for the double bottom. So even if we reach 125, that's where we're going to see a major trend decision on the macro scale. And of course, if we break out from that double bottom like we saw Ethereum do, then Litecoin could go even further than 125 and overextend towards the upside into a new bull rally. So that's something really important to bear in mind. Is Litecoin lagging behind Ethereum? Because if it is, then we're going to see tremendous upside from Litecoin going forward in the months yet ahead. But for the time being, Litecoin is struggling a bit. You can see how this portion of price action is very reminiscent of this portion of price action. We're below the long-standing downtrending resistance dating back to mid-December 2017. And of course, the top of this green box right over here is the reaccumulation range. That's the range high of the reaccumulation range. $48.80 is the top of this range high, and recently we actually saw Litecoin lose this level as a support, and it might be turning into a resistance as we speak. But that's something to take with a pinch of salt, because not only has this happened in the past before, we saw a fake out past $48.80 towards the downside and even a long downward wick. We saw a fake breakdown from this level before reversing towards the upside. You have to also note that Ethereum faked out below 360, right? We saw a very strong fake out below 360, and 360 is essentially the analogous level for Litecoin in this cycle. 360 is essentially the $48.80 level for Litecoin. That's the analogy there. So we're seeing Litecoin try to breach past this level. And of course, there is a higher low forming as well. So we just have to watch for how Litecoin is going to follow Ethereum, because Litecoin has been following Ethereum, but not to the full extent. It hasn't been following Ethereum like Ethereum has been following Bitcoin over the past few months. Ethereum has been following Bitcoin over the past few months fantastically well. Whatever Bitcoin did, Ethereum would do. And in fact, later on, not too long ago, a few weeks back actually, Ethereum would be leading the market and Bitcoin would be struggling to keep up. So I'm just wondering how well could Litecoin follow Ethereum? And if it does follow Ethereum, it will break past $48.80 and manage a flick up towards the upside, following Ethereum, but also following Bitcoin after this sharp sell-off. So that's about it for today's video update. Thank you so much for watching today. Please consider dropping a like and of course subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I'm Rekt Capital and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak soon.